apparently there's a right way to do it. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob. I'm the CowHatLibrarian, and this was an interesting one. I don't know if I've mentioned it previously on the channel, but I thought the book Who Peed My Pants was absolutely hilarious. The big lumbering bear going through the day wondering who peed his pants was absolutely hilarious. I used it in a story time or tour or two at the public library I used to work at, and the response was huge. And so when I saw this book, I thought, okay, I'm ready for more of the same. And it is How to Pee Your Pants the Right Way by Rachel Michelle Wilson. As the story starts, it sort of talks about how, peeing your pants can happen at any time, when you're sleeping in class, when you're sleeping in class, and all the things you probably did to try to keep it from happening by sitting still and crossing your legs and so on. And then saying, you know what, we've all been there. Here's some tips to get you through it. Suggesting things you could do to make a distraction, how you could hide the evidence as either art or origami, and some different things you could use as clothes in a pinch, including a traffic cone, oddly. And what you could do if you don't have clean clothes, and that you might have to wait around for your parents. And it ends with a very, very nice thought that, you know what, if it happens to you, and if you see it happen to someone else, be the friend you wish you had when you peed your pants. And it's a very nice message. It's a very, very reassuring book. It tries to convey the idea that accidents can happen and tries to have a bit of fun with it and a bit of silliness. It's happened to all of us at one time or another when we're young. And this book would be a really, really great source of reassurance, I think, to kids who've recently been potty trained but had an accident in public that embarrassed them. And this might be a source of comfort. And the message at the end, you know what? Hey, it's not just how do you deal with it, but how can you be a good person dealing with it when you notice someone else has peed their pants? It's a very, very nice message. And I think it's one that's fairly important. It's not flat out saying treat others the way you want to be treated, but it gets at that same important message through this thing of peeing your pants. And that's all to the good. And the art style is, reminiscent of sort of, I feel, 1950s, 1960s emergency manuals. The type that would have advised that you duck and cover under your desks in the event of a nuclear war. That sort of thing. The limited color palette is effective. The green and orange is stylish, and black, of course. And the art style works quite well. The text is good. It's fairly straightforward, and it covers just what needs to be covered. Nothing too elaborate. How do you keep from peeing your pants? Well, you use these scientific methods. Sitting very still, holding your breath, crossing your legs. And it comes across as very matter-of-fact, very survival handbooky, and that's all to the good too. And ultimately, I think it is a good book. And like I said, if you liked Who Peed My Pants, I think this would be a really, really fun follow-up. I would also suggest pairing it with Bear Do You Wear Underwear by Todd Doodler, because it's covering the piece of clothing that covers that area of your body, and it might be a fun 3-pack, much like underwear can come in, to read as part of a story time. And all that was to the good. It wasn't perfect though, and I have to talk about the deal breaker. The deal breaker is simply this, and this has more to do with me than the book. I expected this book to be even more of a survival guide to peeing your pants. and more ideas about how you can do it surreptitiously, and covering more alternatives to cover it up, like the events of the strange case of Origami Yoda, where a kid accidentally gets some water on his pants leaning against a counter with water on it in the bathroom. And his friend suggests, well, if you have more water on it, it won't look like you've peed your pants. So he splashes more water all up and down his pants and shirt, and it no longer looks like he peed his pants. And I expected more of that sort of stuff in here. The stuff that's there is funny. The idea that you could hide the evidence by making it into art or origami is very funny. But I expected more of that sort of thing. And I expected this to feel more like one of those manuals with step-by-step guides. You know, step 1, don't panic. Step 2, create a distraction, and then listing a bunch of different ways to do it. And so that's ultimately it. My expectations for this book, based on the cover, based on the title, based on the illustration style, were for a book that wasn't quite like this. And that was maybe a little more humorous and a little less helpful and good-hearted, to be perfectly honest. Still, I like it. I recommend it. Go borrow it from your public library and ignore my overarching expectations for it. While I'm speaking about public libraries, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving the materials, programs, and services they offer, and a few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. If by some chance you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thanks for listening to me talk about books the right way. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back to see what else I have to talk about from the CowHat Library. Thank you. Bye now.